police released new details this afternoon. They tell us someone killed 19-year-old Nadiya Diana Elise Perkins inside an apartment complex on Julia Street Wednesday morning.
Well, this afternoon, there's deadly at a Huntsville apartment complex yesterday. We have some new details on it as police just identified this victim behind me. That's 19-year-old Nadiya Perkins of Montgomery.
New tonight and only on News 19, we're hearing from the parents of the Alabama A&M student found to death. I'm Tamika Alexander.
Glad with us. I'm Ben Hoover. Her parents say the last time they talked to their daughter was Tuesday. She was talking to them about how she was frustrated about a test.
She was silly. She was goofy. She loved to sing. She loved to dance.
Breaking news. Huntsville police are giving us an update on the manhunt on Jordan Road. Let's take a listen.
You see him, it's important. Do not approach him. Immediately call 911 and give us your location. He has an active warrant for his arrest.
Is breaking news.
A suspected killer now behind bars after a major manhunt in northeast Huntsville. The arrest comes 2 days after a 19-year-old college student was shot and killed in a local apartment.
Ahmad Barney is at Huntsville's Criminal Investigations Division headquarters right now, undergoing questioning from police.
It's so bittersweet. That is what Nadiya Perkins said when her classmate asked how it felt to be a graduate.
It felt to be a graduate.
It's so bittersweet. It's like, I don't really feel real. I feel like I got school next year, birthday.
She was on camera. She is always on camera in this story.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nadiya Elise, and we are back with another video.
That is the specific heartbreak of it. She recorded her graduation morning. The lash cluster she was doing while her nose was stuffy and her eyes were watering. The nails she got done at the salon and could not figure out how to film, because how do you record your own nails being done? The warm curls she planned to respray in the morning if she woke up late. She narrated all of it for her audience with the specific, easy comfort of someone who had decided a long time ago that the camera was not something to perform for, but something to be honest with. And when her classmate asked, she answered the way she answered everything. Honestly, it's so bittersweet. It doesn't really feel real. I feel like I've got school next year, but I don't. She said those words at her high school graduation. She was 19 years old. She had a YouTube channel and a hairstyling Instagram page and a criminal justice degree ahead of her and a sister she was supposed to visit in Chicago at the end of March for her birthday. She had parents who talked to her on regular Tuesday nights about regular Tuesday night things, about a test she was frustrated about nothing in particular, about the ordinary texture of a freshman year in a new city. She was still in the early days of figuring out what that new chapter looked like. And somewhere in all of that, she met someone. On the morning of March 4th, 2026, police responded to a shots fired call at Candlewood Apartments on Julia Street in Huntsville, Alabama. Officers were directed by bystanders to a specific unit. Inside, they found Nadiya Diana Elise Perkins. She was 19 years old. Ahmad Khalil Barney is charged with her passing. He is in the Madison County Jail, no bond. A judge called the evidence against him very strong. A preliminary hearing has been scheduled. It's so bittersweet.
We now learn the man accused of the murder of Alabama A&M University student Nadiya Perkins is held without bond. Ahmad Barney was arrested in connection with the death of the 19-year-old that happened a week ago at the Candlewood Apartments. He was captured after an hours-long manhunt Friday. According to court documents made available today, Barney was denied bond. Prosecutors also looking to revoke bond on an unrelated charge from last year.
She said those words at graduation. And now her family is living in the specific, impossible reality of a world that has Nadiya's voice on video, honest and goofy and full of life, and does not have Nadia in it. Stay with me.
She was silly. She was goofy. She loved to sing. She loved to dance.
If you are watching this for the first time, subscribe right now, because this channel exists for people like Nadiya Perkins, who had promise and purpose, who was just getting started. Subscribe and stay with me. Let us start with the most current picture of this case, because the legal developments since March 4th tell you a great deal about how investigators and prosecutors view what happened at Candlewood Apartments. Ahmad Khalil Barney is held without bond at the Madison County Jail. He has been there since his arrest on March 6th, 2 days after Nadia was found. He is charged with murder in connection with her passing. on March 11th, a bond hearing was held before Madison County District Court Judge Linda Coates. Defense attorney Larry Massili filed a motion arguing that his client was entitled to bond under Alabama law and asked the court to release him on his own recognizance or set bond at $15,000, noting that Barney had been declared indigent. She cited 4 specific factors in her decision: the strength of the evidence against him, his threat to the community, a finding reinforced by the fact that 5 Madison County schools were placed on secure perimeter status solely because of his actions while law enforcement was attempting to apprehend him, the fact that he was already on bond for a separate charge at the time of the alleged offense, and the fact that he has no family ties to Alabama. The court also found explicitly that Nadiya Perkins was in a romantic relationship with Barney at the time of the incident, and that the evidence presented was strong enough that the likelihood of conviction is, in the court's language, very high. Testimony at the bond hearing was offered by Huntsville Police Department investigator April Payne. Defense attorney Massili filed a motion under Rule 5.1 of the Alabama Rules of Criminal Procedure requesting a preliminary hearing. At that hearing, a judge determines whether probable cause exists to require the defendant to stand trial. The hearing has been scheduled. The case is moving forward through the Alabama court system. Here's the detail that matters most for understanding Ahmad Barney's complete legal picture. In February 2025, more than a year before March 4, 2026, Barney was arrested on a charge of receiving stolen property involving a firearm. The property in question was a Taurus G2 handgun, a compact 9mm specifically designed for concealed carry. He was indicted on that charge in December 2025. He was out on bond at the time Nadia was found on March 4, 2026. His bond in the stolen firearm case had conditions. One of those conditions was straightforward: stay out of trouble. Do not commit new crimes. Following the murder charge, prosecutors in the stolen firearm case filed a motion asking a judge to revoke his bond in that case as well. The court has since confirmed that bond has been revoked. Between the murder charge and the revocation of his bond on the prior case, Ahmad Khalil Barney has no path to release. Huntsville Police Sergeant Chris Jackson stated the department's priority clearly after the arrest. Our next step is justice for the Perkins family. They have a 19-year-old girl who lost her life to a tragic incident and holding him accountable. Drop a comment right now. One word. Tell me how you are feeling. I've read every single one. The thing about Nadiya Perkins is that she left us her own testimony, not in the way crime victims usually leave traces, in evidence reports and case files and the accounts of people who knew her. In video, her voice, her face, her specific humor and her specific honesty and the specific way she held a camera and talked to her audience like they were people she trusted. That is an unusual gift in a story like this one, and it demands to be used.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nadiya Elise, and we are back with another video. As you guys can see by the title, this is my Jamaica trip vlog.
Nadiya Diana Elise Perkins was 19 years old. She was from Montgomery, Alabama. She graduated high school and recorded the whole morning. The lash clusters and the nail salon and the warm curls and the specific happy, exhausted mess of a graduation day that she was already narrating for people watching from their phones. She was funny, not try-hard funny. Naturally funny, the kind of funny that comes from being willing to be honest about small things. She forgot to record at the nail salon because she was too caught up in it. She sprayed her curls instead of restyling them because she woke up late. She had a worn curl right here she could redo in the morning. Small things, real things. The exact texture of a 19-year-old morning on graduation day. She was also a hairstylist. She had an Instagram page dedicated to her work, nails and hair, and the specific creative output of someone who was building something with her hands and her eye before she had even finished being a teenager. And she had a degree in criminal justice ahead of her. That choice, criminal justice, is not incidental. Nadia did not drift into that major. She chose it because she wanted to work inside a system that helped people. She had already decided at 19 that the world had problems worth solving and that she wanted to be one of the people solving them. She applied to Alabama A&M University in Huntsville and got in, moved to a new city, started a new chapter. Alabama A&M University, in their official statement after Nadia's passing, called her a thoughtful and friendly member of the AAMU campus community, a student with promise and purpose. Her Aunt Monica Ridgway said it the way family says things, simply and without qualification. She had purpose written all over her. Her sister described her as bubbly, always the peacemaker, trying to keep everybody together, goofy, silly, fun-loving, God-fearing, encouraging, a light. That is what a sister says about a sister she loved, not a description, a light. Nadia was supposed to go to Chicago with her sister at the end of March, the birthday trip they had planned, the FaceTime on Monday, the phone call on Tuesday night about the test. She never made that trip. If this story has reached you, share it right now for Nadia, so that her name travels further than one apartment complex in Huntsville, Alabama. Share it. To understand the world Nadiya Perkins had moved into, you need to understand Huntsville. Huntsville, Alabama is a city that carries two very distinct identities simultaneously. It is the Rocket City, the home of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, of Redstone Arsenal, of the aerospace and defense industries that have made it one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the American South. It has the largest research park in the Southeast. It has median household incomes that outpace most of Alabama significantly. It is, by many measures, a success story of 21st century Southern economic development. It is also a city with the same tensions and inequalities that every American city carries underneath its success story. Neighborhoods where economic growth has not arrived evenly. Communities navigating the gap between the Huntsville that appears in the rankings and the Huntsville that people actually live in on a daily basis. Alabama A&M University sits on the north side of Huntsville, on what is called the Hill. It is a historically black university founded in 1875. It has produced graduates in agriculture, science, engineering, business, and education for over 150 years. It is a community. A place where the phrase "Bulldog Strong" is not just a slogan, but a specific promise that the institution makes to its students about what belonging there means. Nadiya Perkins was a freshman on that hill, still in the early weeks and months of figuring out what her AAMU chapter looked like, still building the friendships and routines and sense of place that college freshmen build, still learning who was who in a city she had not grown up in. That specific vulnerability, being new, being young, being in the process of learning who to trust, is part of what makes this story so resonant for every parent who has watched a child move away for college. Part of what makes the question Nadia's father was asking, who is this person my daughter is spending time with? The exact right question. He was asking it. The full answer was not available to him in time. At some point after Nadia arrived in Huntsville, she met Ahmad Khalil Barney. Her parents described the timeline the way parents describe things they only partially knew about, honestly, with the specific uncertainty of people who were getting information from a distance. A couple of weeks, maybe 2 months. That was the whole thing. Barney was 20 years old. He was from the Huntsville area. He and Nadia were in what police described as a qualifying domestic relationship, which is the legal language that triggers domestic violence-related statutes in Alabama. The court confirmed explicitly that they were in a romantic relationship at the time of the incident. Nadia's father was not comfortable with it. He told her directly, not a vague general concern, specific, about Barney, about going to his location. Do not keep going over there. He said that to his daughter. She had called them about him. The parents knew his name, knew the situation existed. And her father had seen enough in a couple of weeks to maybe 2 months to give her a direct and specific warning. What her father may not have fully known, what the court documents would later confirm, is the specific reason that warning was exactly right. At the time, Nadia was spending time with Ahmad Khalil Barney. He was on bond for a stolen firearm charge. February 2025. Receiving stolen property. A Taurus G2 handgun. A compact 9mm. He had been indicted in December 2025. A judge had denied his youthful offender application. His bond required him to stay out of trouble. He had a pending criminal case involving a stolen firearm, and Nadiya Perkins had no way of knowing that. She was a freshman in a new city. She was meeting new people. She was doing what 19-year-olds do when they move somewhere they have never lived before. She was figuring it out. Her father was already worried. And on the morning of March 4th, 2026, at approximately 9 in the morning, the thing her father was worried about found her. Wednesday morning, March 4th, 2026, Candlewood Apartments, Julia Street, not U.S., Huntsville, Alabama. Around 9 in the morning, residents in the complex heard gunshots, 4, maybe 5 shots, back to back, close together. The kind of sequence that does not sound like anything else. 911 calls came in. Multiple callers, reports of shots fired, reports of a possible location within the complex. Huntsville police responded to Julia Street. Officers canvassed the area. Bystanders directed them to a specific building, a specific unit. Inside, officers found Nadiya Perkins. She had sustained a gunshot wound. Emergency personnel initiated life-saving measures. Nadia was transported from Candlewood Apartments. Despite the efforts of first responders, she did not survive. Madison County Coroner Tyler Berryhill ruled her passing a homicide. The Huntsville Police Department's Major Crimes Unit took over immediately. Within hours, the investigation had a direction. Evidence gathered at the scene and from witness interviews pointed toward one person, a person who had been inside that apartment with Nadia when the rang out. Ahmad Khalil Barney. By the time investigators were prepared to act on that conclusion, Barney was gone. He had left the scene before police arrived, and a 3-day manhunt had begun. By Friday, March 6th, investigators with the Huntsville Police Department's Major Crimes Unit had a warrant in hand for Ahmad Khalil Barney. Sergeant Chris Jackson addressed the public directly. Barney was described as armed and dangerous, 6'1", approximately 165 to 175 pounds, last seen wearing all black with black slides, a small afro. The public was advised, do not approach. Call 911.
Huntsville police are giving us an update on the manhunt on Jordan Road. Let's take a listen.
If you see him, it's important. Do not approach him. Immediately call 911 and give us your location. He has an active warrant for his arrest.
At approximately 10:30 on Friday morning, officers received information that Barney had been spotted at a Chevron gas station at the corner of Jordan Road and Shields Road in Huntsville. Officers moved in. Barney saw them coming. He ran. He fled into a wooded area near the gas station. What followed was a full-scale multi-agency operation. The Huntsville Police Department set up a large perimeter around the area. K-9 units were brought in to track him on foot. Drone teams equipped with FLR thermal imaging technology were deployed overhead. Officers from multiple units, including SWAT, flooded the neighborhood. 4 agencies were involved simultaneously. HPD, the Madison County Sheriff's Office, the U.S. Marshals Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force, the Alabama A&M University Police Department. 5 Madison County schools were placed on secure perimeter status while the operation was underway. School children were kept inside. Parents were notified. The entire north side of Huntsville was operating under the shadow of a manhunt for a man wanted for the passing of a 19-year-old college freshman. Sergeant Jackson addressed the drone challenge publicly. The temperature that Friday was sitting around 85 degrees. FLR thermal imaging becomes significantly less effective in that level of heat. It is harder to distinguish a human heat signature from the ambient temperature of the environment. The drones became most useful for ruling out areas rather than pinpointing a location. After approximately 2 hours of searching the wooded area, investigators developed information that Barney had left. He was no longer there. He had crossed the city from the north side near Jordan and Shields all the way to Century Street by means that police could not fully confirm. A 911 tip came in from a community member. He was spotted at an apartment on Century Street, on the opposite side of Huntsville from where the search had been focused. Officers moved to Century Street. They located Ahmad Khalil Barney at a residence there. He was taken into custody without incident at just after 20 p.m. on Friday, March 6th. Police scanner traffic captured the moment. Offender in custody. Century Street. The 3-day manhunt was over. Pause right here. Hit the like button for Perkins so that her story reaches every person who needs to hear it. When Ahmad Khalil Barney's defense attorney argued for bond, he invoked a procedural argument. that the pretrial detention hearing had not been held at Barney's initial court appearance as required by state law under Aniah's law, and therefore the hearing should be rendered moot. Key asked for release on recognizance or a $15,000 bond, noting Barney was indigent. Judge Linda Coates was not persuaded. Understanding why requires understanding what Aniah's law is and where it came from. In 2019, a young woman named Aniah Blanchard was abducted and lost her life in Alabama. The man charged with her death had been released on bond for a prior violent offense. That outcome, a violent offender out on bond committing an even more violent crime, sparked a statewide effort to close the gap in Alabama's bail system that had allowed it to happen. Aniah's law, passed as a constitutional amendment in 2021, gives Alabama judges the authority to deny bond entirely in cases involving violent felonies when the judge determines that no conditions of release would reasonably ensure public safety or the defendant's appearance at trial. Ahmad Khalil Barney's case fit that framework precisely. He was already on bond for a prior offense involving a firearm when Nadiya Perkins lost her life. His bond conditions required him to stay out of trouble. He violated those conditions. He then fled from police, triggering a massive manhunt that required 4 agencies, put 5 schools on lockdown, and dominated a major American city for the better part of a Friday. Judge Coates cited all of it. The strength of the evidence, the threat to the community, the prior bond violation, the absence of family ties to Alabama. She denied bond entirely. And the court's finding that the likelihood of conviction is very high, stated explicitly in a judicial order, is one of the most significant legal statements made about this case so far. The Madison County District Attorney's Office is working with Huntsville police to complete the investigation before formally presenting the case to prosecutors. A preliminary hearing has been scheduled. The legal process is moving. Let us talk about the thing that every case like this one demands we talk about. Nadiya Perkins was in a new relationship, a short one, a couple weeks, maybe 2 months. The research on intimate partner femicide, the deliberate ending of a woman or girl's life by a current or former intimate partner, is consistent across decades of studies and across every country where it has been measured. The most dangerous period in any intimate partner relationship is not the middle. It is the beginning and the ending. At the beginning of a relationship, before patterns are established, before either person fully understands the other, before warning signs have had time to accumulate and be recognized, the risk of sudden escalating violence is present. And in the early stages of a relationship is often also in the stage of establishing control, of testing what they can get away with, of responding to any resistance with disproportionate force. A short relationship is not a safe relationship by definition. It is a relationship where there has been less time for warning signs to accumulate, less time for other people around the woman to see what is actually happening, less time for the woman herself to fully understand what she is dealing with. Nadiya's father saw something in 2 weeks to 2 months that made him say directly, "Do not keep going over there." He did not have court records in front of him. He did not have a police file. He had his instincts as a father, and whatever he had learned about Ahmad Barney from what Nadiya shared and from what he could observe, his instincts were right. And the systemic reality that sits around this case is that Ahmad Khalil Barney had a prior stolen firearm charge. He was on bond. He had a pending criminal case. And none of that information was available to Nadiya Perkins in the ordinary course of meeting someone in a new city as a college freshman. That gap between what the legal system knew about a person and what the people in his immediate social orbit knew is a gap that exists in every community, that allows people with criminal histories involving weapons to continue presenting as ordinary people in ordinary social situations. Nationally, intimate partner homicides account for a significant portion of all homicides of women in the United States every year. The presence of a firearm in an intimate partner relationship increases the risk of homicide by a factor that researchers have consistently measured at 500% or higher compared to relationships where no firearm is present. Ahmad Barney had been charged with receiving a stolen firearm. He had a Taurus G2 9mm in his history, and Nadiya Perkins did not know. She chose criminal justice, not business, not education. Not one of the majors that 19-year-olds sometimes choose because they do not yet know what they want, and a major requires a choice. Nadiya Perkins chose criminal justice deliberately because she wanted to work inside a system that helped people. She was interested in how systems worked, how accountability happened, how people who've been harmed could find something that looked like justice. She had spent enough of her 19 years paying attention to the world to have formed a view about what she wanted to contribute to it. Criminal justice. She wanted to understand the system. She wanted to work inside it. She wanted to be the person on the other side of it for people who needed help. And now, as Sergeant Jackson said, the same system is the one pursuing justice on her behalf. That specific irony lives in this case in a way that demands to be acknowledged. Nadiya Perkins came to Huntsville to study how justice works. She was 19 years old in a new city at the beginning of the rest of her life. She was the kind of person who recorded her graduation and talked to her audience about lash clusters and warm curls because she was honest and she was funny and she was figuring it out. She was a light. That is what her sister said. Alabama A&M University is planning a campus memorial service for her later this year. Montgomery held her funeral the Saturday after she was found. She was brought home, back to the city she had grown up in. Back to the people who had known her before she was a freshman at AAEMU, before she was a YouTube vlogger and a criminal justice major and a hairstylist with a page, when she was just Nadia. And her sister is still processing that Chicago trip that did not happen, that birthday that Nadia was supposed to be there for, the FaceTime on Monday, the Tuesday night phone call about a test, the regular things that are now the last things. Her name was Nadiya Diana Elise Perkins. She was 19 years old. She was from Montgomery. She recorded her graduation morning and talked to her audience about lash clusters and nail salons and warm curls. She said it's so bittersweet when someone asked her how it felt to graduate, because that was how she talked. Honestly, without performance. She was a hairstylist, a criminal justice major, a sister who was supposed to be in Chicago at the end of the month, a daughter who called home on Tuesday nights about tests. She was a light. Ahmad Khalil Barney is in the Madison County Jail without bond, charged with her passing. The evidence against him called very strong by a judge who denied every path to his release. A preliminary hearing has been scheduled. The Madison County District Attorney's Office is building the case. The legal process is moving toward accountability. Sergeant Jackson said what needs to be said. Our next step is justice for the Perkins family and to Nadia's parents, who warned her, who loved her, who spoke to her on a Tuesday night about a test and did not know that was the last call. There are no words adequate to what they are carrying. Only the acknowledgement that they did everything right, that her father saw something and said something, that they raised a daughter who was honest and funny and full of purpose, and that none of what happened is on them. To her sister, Nadia was supposed to be with you at the end of the month. She was supposed to be there for your birthday. That absence is specific and permanent and entirely unfair, and you are allowed to feel the full weight of it. Say her name. Nadiya Diana Elise Perkins, 19 years old. It's so bittersweet. It doesn't feel real. She was right, it would not feel real. She just did not know which part would not feel real. She just did not know which part would not feel real. Subscribe to this channel. Like this video. Share it everywhere. Leave Nadia's name in the comments. And if you are a young woman in a new city figuring out who to trust, your instincts matter. Your family's concerns matter. The quiet feeling that something is not right matters. Trust it. Nadiya Perkins had promise and purpose. She deserved to grow into both. I will see you in the next one.